This video for NFPA, National Fire Protection Association. Kindly subscribe my channel AfreenAli. What is NFPA? The National Fire Protection Association, NFPA, is a global non-profit organization, established in 1896, devoted to eliminating death, injury, property, and economic loss due to fire, electrical and related hazards. NFPA delivers information and knowledge through more than 300 consensus codes and standards, research, training, education, outreach and advocacy, and by partnering with others who share an interest in furthering our mission. NFPA membership totals more than 60,000 individuals around the world. Our mission: we help save lives and reduce loss with information, knowledge, and passion. List of NFPA codes and standards. NFPA publishes more than 300 consensus codes and standards intended to minimize the possibility and effects of fire and other risks. NFPA codes and standards, administered by more than 250 technical committees comprising approximately 8,000 volunteers, are adopted and used throughout the world. Code/standard name: NFPA 1. Fire Code. NFPA 2. Hydrogen Technologies Code. NFPA 3. Recommended Practice for Commissioning of Fire Protection and Life Safety Systems. NFPA 4. Standard for Integrated Fire Protection and Life Safety System Testing. NFPA 10. Standard for Portable Fire Extinguishers. NFPA 11. Standard for Low, Medium, and High Expansion Foam. NFPA 11A. Standard for Medium and High Expansion Foam Systems. NFPA 11C. Standard for Mobile Foam Apparatus. NFPA 12. Standard on Carbon Dioxide Extinguishing Systems. NFPA 12A. Standard on Halon 1301 Fire Extinguishing Systems. NFPA 13. Standard for the installation of sprinkler systems. NFPA 13D. Standard for the installation of sprinkler systems in 1 and 2 family dwellings and manufactured homes. NFPA 13E. Recommended Practice for Fire Department Operations in Properties Protected by Sprinkler and Standpipe Systems. NFPA 13R. Standard for the installation of sprinkler systems in low-rise residential occupancies. NFPA 14. Standard for the installation of standpipe and hose systems. NFPA 15. Standard for water spray fixed systems for fire protection. NFPA 16. Standard for the installation of foam water sprinkler and foam water spray systems. NFPA 17. Standard for dry chemical extinguishing systems. NFPA 17A. Standard for wet chemical extinguishing systems. NFPA 18. Standard on wetting agents. NFPA 18A. Standard on water additives for fire control and vapor mitigation. NFPA 20. Standard for the installation of stationary pumps for fire protection. NFPA 22. Standard for water tanks for private fire protection. NFPA 24. Standard for the installation of private fire service mains and their appurtenances. NFPA 25. Standard for the inspection, testing, and maintenance of water-based fire protection systems. NFPA 30. Flammable and Combustible Liquids Code. NFPA 30A. Code for Motor Fuel Dispensing Facilities and Repair Garages. NFPA 30B. Code for the manufacture and storage of aerosol products. NFPA 31. Standard for the installation of oil burning equipment. NFPA 32. Standard for dry cleaning facilities. NFPA 33. Standard for spray application using flammable or combustible materials. NFPA 34. Standard for dipping, coating, and printing processes using flammable or combustible liquids. NFPA 35. Standard for the manufacture of organic coatings. NFPA 36. Standard for solvent extraction plants. NFPA 37. Standard for the installation and use of stationary combustion engines and gas turbines. NFPA 40. Standard for the storage and handling of cellulose nitrate film. NFPA 42. Code for the storage of pyroxylene plastic. NFPA 45. Standard on fire protection for laboratories using chemicals. NFPA 46. Recommended safe practice for storage of forest products. NFPA 50. Standard for bulk oxygen systems at consumer sites. NFPA 50A. Standard for gaseous hydrogen systems at consumer sites. NFPA 50B. Standard for liquefied hydrogen systems at consumer sites. NFPA 51. Standard for the design and installation of oxygen fuel gas systems for welding, cutting, and allied processes. NFPA 51A. Standard for acetylene cylinder charging plants. NFPA 51B. Standard for fire prevention during welding, cutting, and other hot work. NFPA 52. Vehicular Natural Gas Fuel Systems Code. NFPA 53. Recommended practice on materials, equipment, and systems used in oxygen-enriched atmospheres. NFPA 54. National Fuel Gas Code. NFPA 55. Compressed Gases and Cryogenic Fluids Code. NFPA 56. Standard for fire and explosion prevention during cleaning and purging of flammable gas piping systems. NFPA 57. Liquefied Natural Gas, LNG, Vehicular Fuel Systems Code. NFPA 58. Liquefied Petroleum Gas Code. NFPA 59. Utility LP Gas Plant Code. NFPA 59A. Standard for the production, storage, and handling of liquefied natural gas, LNG. NFPA 61. Standard for the prevention of fires and dust explosions in agricultural and food processing facilities. NFPA 67. Guide on explosion protection for gaseous mixtures in pipe systems. NFPA 68. Standard on explosion protection by deflagration venting. NFPA 69. Standard on explosion prevention systems. NFPA 70. National Electrical Code Registered Trademark. NFPA 70A. National Electrical Code Registered Trademark Requirements for 1 and 2 family dwellings. NFPA 70B. Recommended practice for electrical equipment maintenance. NFPA 70E. Standard for Electrical Safety in the Workplace Registered Trademark. NFPA 72. National Fire Alarm and Signaling Code. NFPA 73. Standard for Electrical Inspections for Existing Dwellings. NFPA 75. Standard for the Fire Protection of Information Technology Equipment. NFPA 76. Standard for the Fire Protection of Telecommunications Facilities. NFPA 77. Recommended Practice on Static Electricity. NFPA 79. Electrical Standard for Industrial Machinery. NFPA 80. Standard for Fire Doors and Other Opening Protectives. NFPA 80A. Recommended Practice for Protection of Buildings from Exterior Fire Exposures. NFPA 82. Standard on Incinerators and Waste and Linen Handling Systems and Equipment. NFPA 85. Boiler and Combustion Systems Hazards Code. NFPA 86. Standard for Ovens and Furnaces. NFPA 86C. Standard for Industrial Furnaces using a Special Processing Atmosphere. NFPA 86D. Standard for Industrial Furnaces using Vacuum as an Atmosphere. NFPA 87. Recommended Practice for Fluid Heaters. NFPA 88A. Standard for Parking Structures. NFPA 88B. Standard for Repair Garages. NFPA 90A. Standard for the installation of air conditioning and ventilating systems. NFPA 90B. Standard for the installation of warm air heating and air conditioning systems. NFPA 91. Standard for exhaust systems for air conveying of vapors, gases, mists, and particulate solids. NFPA 92. Standard for smoke control systems. NFPA 92A. Standard for smoke control systems utilizing barriers and pressure differences. NFPA 92B. Standard for smoke management systems in malls, atria, and large spaces. NFPA 96. Standard for ventilation control and fire protection of commercial cooking operations. NFPA 97. Standard glossary of terms relating to chimneys, vents, and heat-producing appliances. NFPA 99. Healthcare Facilities Code. NFPA 99B. Standard for hypobaric facilities. NFPA 101. Life Safety Code Registered Trademark.